Welcome back, viewers, to part 2 of my Clear Sky guide drawing. This piece is number 2 in my little series of S.T.A.L.K.E.R fan arts, and like the last one, we are loading this up into the Procreate painting program and going to give him a little color digitally. So here is the finished piece that y'all saw in the last video. I've decided to call it Caught by Surprise. Like any ink drawing to digital color process, it begins by loading the image up into Procreate and setting it to the blend mode multiply, which uses math to turn darker colors darker and bright white transparent. Then I can paint beneath it. At first, I'm laying in colors that are darker for a nighttime scene, but I'm really just messing around, checking out my options, because from the get-go, this drawing is set up to be a daytime scene. The reason being is the way I shaded it with ink. If this drawing were destined to be a nighttime scene, the shadows would have been much darker and hard-lined, considering that the sole light source, as I'm painting it now, is coming from the muzzle flash, which granted would have been a pretty dramatic scene. But I shaded the figure with hatching, which is a mid-tone, suggesting diffused lighting, the kind that you might get on an overcast day. So perhaps I'll reserve the idea of this guy getting illuminated by his muzzle flash in a dramatic way for another drawing. In the meantime, let's check out the daytime scene. Okay, it's pretty standard stuff. I'm throwing in flat colors first, then I'm putting highlights on top of that, blending them together. The highlights I'm putting on a separate layer above, so that when it comes time to do the camouflage, it sits below that layer and is affected by it, rather than sitting on top. At any point in the painting, I can go back and edit the ink drawing just by erasing out and repainting over it. You can see here and there I made a few small edits, mostly for the rock in the background, but I also realized that I forgot to give this stalker knee pads. And for a bit I was toying with the idea of adding them in, but they started to crowd the hand in the background a little too much. So I figured it was best to let it be. The last big edit that I'm going to do for this piece is coloring some of the line work, most notably in the muzzle flash. It can be a little tough to describe a bright light with dark lines. I also wanted to clear up any possible confusion that this might be the belly of the mutant rather than the muzzle flash, so a little bit of red in the line work will help me out there. I'm also adding a slight dark blue color to the rest of the lines in this piece. That's just an aesthetic choice, no real technical advantage there. And she's done. Thanks for following along, y'all. I'll see you next time.